Before we start to meditate, we really escape these thoughts. Every time we have some thoughts, we tend to go out, hang out with our friends, go on Instagram, swipe on some reels. Some people do things that are more intense, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol. And this is how the human escapes thoughts. Now, with meditation, it is literally the opposites. You're locking yourself in a room with your thoughts, and there's no way out. The only way out is through. So, this is why we get anxious during meditation. This is why all of us have resistance to meditate. It's because we don't want to lock ourselves in a room with our thoughts, because these thoughts, they know the deepest and darkest secrets of who we are, or who we think we are, which is our mind. It's the collection of what our mind has accumulated over the years, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's being peeled off like an onion, one layer after another layer after another layer during the meditation. And the mind is kind of like, hey, how about this memory? Do you like that? No, you don't like that. And it's trying to push us towards avoiding observing the thoughts. It's always pushing us towards avoidance by showing us scarier and scarier and scarier thoughts. Now, I've said this before, but I'll repeat it again. Our thoughts can be treated kind of like a bully. You know, if you have a bully in school, this bully is kind of an attention seeker. He's bullying to seek attention. And the bully usually finds its victim by the victim who reacts the most. So you have the bully and you have the perfect victim, the reactor, the person who shows the most fear, shows the most anxiety. And this is how the bully feeds its energy to bully more. Now, this victim can never fight the bully because the bully is stronger, he's louder, he has more friends and more members who can beat up this victim. So, what can the victim do in this situation? What's the smartest way out of being bullied? Well, if you look at it, and a lot of people have figured this out, is to tell the victim of bullying, hey, when this guy comes, just don't react to him. Don't even look at him. Don't give him the fuel that he needs to bully you. Don't be afraid. Don't curse him. Don't say something nice about him. Don't say something not nice about him. Just ignore completely. Even if he hits you, don't hit back. Don't say, hey, don't hit me. Don't say, hey, I'm gonna tell the teacher on you. Don't do anything. Now, the bully might keep yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling, but eventually, the bully will get bored. And then the bully will be like, hey, this is not giving me the energy that I need, for my entertainment or for whatever. Now the bully will move on to another victim that gives him more reaction. So, with this example, we can really look at the mind or thoughts in the same light because thoughts are the same exact way. They feed off your attention. Whether you say this is a good thought or a bad thought or a beautiful thought, it's still a thought. This is why I tell people when they look at the beautiful view, I have an amazing view in front of me, but I'm not going to keep staring at this view and say, wow, it's so beautiful, it's so amazing, it's amazing. Because I'm putting words into it and it might create positive thoughts. But positive thoughts are a gateway for negative thoughts. An example for this is I might say, hey, this is a beautiful view. Tomorrow, when I'm seeing a not so beautiful view, the thought will arise and say, hey, remember yesterday's view? It was so much better than this view. And then it will kind of pull me down into a negative spiral. So positive thoughts aren't good. They're actually much sneakier than negative thoughts because they pretend that they're positive. This is the same way if you have a bully bullying you, don't say anything positive to this person. No positive, no negative, no neutral even. You just want to completely ignore any words. Vocabulary is your enemy. Words are your enemy because words start dragging and one thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought, and then you're trapped again. So, the moral of the story, treat your mind and your thoughts as a bully that you want to get rid of as quickly as possible by not giving it any attention whatsoever. And this is applicable, and you've seen this in your life, I'm sure. If you had a guest in your house that was overstaying and you didn't want them to stay, you wanted them to leave, they kept talking and talking and talking to you and talking to you. If you keep talking to this person, engaging with him, he will never leave. He will stay at your house. But if you just don't reply to anything this person says, eventually they'll get the idea and they will leave. This is why thoughts are okay to have. It's okay to have thoughts. There's no problem with that. There's no harm in having thoughts. The harm really happens when you engage, when you respond. So if the thought comes and says, wow, this is such a beautiful day, amazing weather, just leave it at that. Acknowledge that it's a thought. Acknowledge that this thought is trying to trick you by being a positive thought. It wants you to engage and say, yeah, it is such a beautiful day. Yeah, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or comment on the thought, or be like, wow, I love these days, and acknowledge that this is a positive thought. and eventually it wants to drag you to the negative realm. And the thing is, after it drags you to the negative realm, it will tell you, huh, you're so negative right now. Why are you so negative? You should do this. You shouldn't. So it's never a good thing. In order to do what I'm saying, it will require you just one thing. There's not a lot of steps or things that you need to do in order to really master what I'm saying. You only need to be aware, constant awareness, a never ending awareness. You have to be observant all the time. You click the refresh button and keep being observant. Keep being observant. One moment after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. Hold on to that observation. That way, you won't accidentally engage with the mind. Because most of us, we want to be observant, we want to be aware, but by accident, we just find ourselves having a conversation with our mind in the middle of a argument with our mind, you know, and then we wake up and we're like, what the fuck? How did I end up here? So we never see the beginning of ourselves engaging with the mind. We always wake up in the middle of it and we end up saying, how the hell did we end up in this conversation with our mind? Where did it even start from? So, to combat this, constant refreshing of our awareness all the time. It is much easier doing this when we are alone because other people trigger us to lose consciousness very quickly. So, you want to have the right conditions to do this initially, and then you can be observant while being with other people. So, initially, you want to do this alone. It's recommended. This is why all the monks they go alone. They want to isolate themselves from their families, from their friends, because their previous lives kind of triggered having never-ending conversations in our mind. So, you want to make this as easy for yourself as possible for a while during your practice. Be alone. This way, you can practice the observation without any interruption. And your goal is to lengthen the space between the thoughts as much as possible, as long as possible. I've heard Osho in one of his lectures saying that 47 minutes is the target. If you do that, you end up in the state of no mind. That's a good number. That's a good target. But in the beginning, just 1 minute feels like an eternity. But you realize that these thoughts aren't really interesting. They're just yapping. And you kind of lose interest over time.